After 5 years of testing reusable spacecraft, Blue Origin may be less than a year away from offering the world's first space tourism service. The company, funded by the now second richest man in the world, Amazon's Jeff Bezos, launched their 14th spaceflight using the upgraded model of their flagship spacecraft, the 11th generation New Shepard. The company says this successful test brings them to the precipice of actualizing the dream of commercially available astrotourism. Some at Blue Origin have even suggested their first commercial flight may take place as soon as this April. So, feel up for a vacation? The NS-14, or New Shepard 14, launched from West Texas on January 14th and successfully completed a 10-minute flight into the outer reaches of Earth's atmosphere, propelled by a liquid hydrogen-liquid oxygen fuel mix and scraping a jaw-dropping 307,000-foot elevation, though by design the craft did not reach orbit. The flight was designed as an unmanned simulation of the tourist flights the company plans to offer untrained civilians with enough cash to spare. The booster and crew capsule of the 60-foot-tall rocket separated in the upper atmosphere and landed apart to be reused later, the booster piloting itself down to the desert floor without damage, about 2 miles away from the launch site. The crew capsule, carrying no one but a test dummy on this flight but will eventually carry up to 6 passengers, also descended safely shortly afterward using parachutes to aid a soft landing. The capsule's test dummy, dubbed Mannequin Skywalker by its creators after the fictional spacefaring family from the Star Wars franchise, will allow engineers and scientists working on New Shepard to test the reliability of certain safety features inside the capsule. 3 of New Shepard 14's 10 in-flight minutes were spent in microgravity, a near-weightless state achieved by reaching the outer atmosphere. During this period, future passengers will be able to leave their seats and walk around, peering out 6 large windows at the Earth below for the full astronaut experience. Speaking of astronaut experience, the interior of the Blue Origin crew capsule looks like something pulled directly from Star Trek. The high-tech tourist transport features new cutting-edge spaceflight technology, enabling astro-tourists to speak with mission control whenever necessary, even from the outer atmosphere. Also new to the New Shepard are crew-accessible temperature controls and a mysterious crew member display, which we have no details about as of yet. The New Shepard system is fully reusable and has been since 2018. Though each flight in the interim, the systems are upgraded, thus receiving a new numerical moniker, the base system of the New Shepard 14 is the same craft that has been launching for the past 2 years, and most likely will be the craft to finally carry Blue Origin's first customers to suborbital space. Don't go breaking your piggy banks just yet. While April has been suggested as a possible manned flight, the company has declined to comment to any schedule or time frame for New Shepard 15's launch. Officials have suggested a mid-February launch for NS-15 and then, if all goes according to plan, a manned flight in April. However, they took care to stress that this was mere speculation. A manned mission in April hinges on the success of New Shepard 15. Even if the rocket is prepared to launch again in February, there's no guarantee some unforeseen error won't delay the theoretical manned Blue Origin flight by another 2 years or even longer. The company has made lofty projections before, at least on one occasion suggesting the first manned flight running up to commercial availability would take place in 2018, which it obviously did not. There are other competitors in the astro-tourism market, though companies like SpaceX and Virgin Orbit are focused on launching crafts like satellites, delivering supplies, and eventually setting up habitats on astronomical bodies. Blue Origin has a competitor from the tourism side of space in Virgin Orbit's sister company, Virgin Galactic. Virgin Galactic aborted a botched attempt at rocket-powered flight. The CEO said the flight cancellation was caused by the computer monitoring the onboard rocket engine having lost connection. Virgin Galactic's system is remarkably different from Blue Origin's New Shepard, departing from the traditional conception of a rocket and favoring a more conventional approach. Virgin's preferred method of launching tourists into near orbit is a 2-step system involving 2 spacecraft. the Virgin mothership Eve, VMS for short, which launches from the ground carrying the Virgin spaceship Unity, or VSS Unity. The mothership provides the bulk of the thrust required to clear the lower atmosphere, then launches Unity into the outer atmosphere, and then it descends. Even though Virgin Galactic's suborbital craft has flown with passengers before, it also has an unfavorable track record that may turn away potential tourists that, at this point, the spaceflight company desperately needs. The company has been plagued by a history of difficulty and casualty, with at least 4 fatalities and more serious injuries along their way towards private spaceflight, and the catastrophic failure of their first spacefaring vessel, the VSS Enterprise. It would appear Galactic has a ways to go before it catches up with the billionaire-funded Blue Origin. Much like Bezos' other venture, Amazon, maybe you've heard of it, Blue Origin isn't letting itself be boxed into only one industry, instead diversifying its business ventures in the stars. The privately funded space program has made forays into payload delivery and satellite launch with their reusable spacecraft dubbed New Glenn, named after astronaut John Glenn, boasting more than twice the volume of available cargo capacity and 25 meters of height on SpaceX's similar craft. New Glenn is a completely reusable 3-stage rocket, with each piece returning to Earth in controlled descents and retrieved from the ocean by Jacqueline, a vessel specifically designed for recovering newly re-entered spacecraft and named after Jeff Bezos' mother. The New Glenn reportedly can be reused up to 25 times before being decommissioned. Blue Origin is even competing in a bid against Elon Musk's SpaceX and other commercial space companies for a partnership with NASA in designing and theoretically constructing a lunar base capable of supporting semi-sustainable human life. The contest is part of NASA's Moon Habitation Plan, which previously aimed to have returned humans and, more specifically, United States astronauts to the moon by 2028, though the Trump administration intervened in early 2019 to push the deadline for a lunar return up to 2024. NASA, now on an accelerated timetable, is supposed to decide on the contract partners by the end of February, so this month could bring big news on 2 fronts for Blue Origin. The other company of note competing for NASA's attention is less flashy than the high-profile billionaire-funded SpaceX and Blue Origin. It's Dynetics, a subsidiary of Leidos. Dynetics is a fairly low-profile aerospace engineering company, a more down-to-earth style firm than SpaceX and Blue Origin, both of which could be accused of being a billionaire's vanity project. Even with these criticisms, Blue Origin is taking the possible lunar contract extremely seriously, reportedly partnering with the likes of Lockheed Martin, Draper, and Northrop Grumman. Grumman was responsible for engineering the lunar habitat used in the Apollo program. Blue Origin's lunar lander, dubbed Blue Moon, contains 3 main structures: an ascent module, descent module, and a cargo carrier. These 3 stages together would serve to set up a system in which astronauts could foreseeably inhabit the lunar surface, being resupplied as necessary. Blue Origin is responsible for the manufacturing of the descent element using the same tech incorporated in the new Shepard line. Lockheed Martin makes the ascent element, and Northrop Grumman makes the cargo lander, based on a rocket that has made 13 successful orbital flights. Draper is responsible for much of the software and technological interfaces between each of these modules. Blue Origin suggests it could have astronauts on the moon's surface by 2023 with its Blue Moon system, a full year ahead of NASA's accelerated timetable. Even though NASA's own Orion capsule, part of the larger Artemis spacecraft system, will carry the next lunar explorers, having designed and built a United States moon base would be an incredible feat for whichever company wins the contract. Blue Origin has already designed its own private lunar lander, meant to resupply and integrate with the existing architecture of the Blue Moon project. It could also logically lead to more contracts with NASA and the US government as they look to future habitation of the moon and possibly other celestial bodies. While SpaceX has a history of shuttling supplies and astronauts to the International Space Station and back in reusable rockets, Blue Origin also has a history, albeit a very brief one, of resupply missions to the ISS. Landing the contract for the moon-based design and construction could be just the thing Blue Origin needs to tip the scales and emerge as the dominant force in the new space race.